So now in this second video, we'll focus on a little bit more depth on the standards on themselves. So this is a different framework. It's not the IFRS. This is a European one. So it affects European organizations. Right now, the rule is that it has been changing recently, but right now the rule is that for 2026, uh, companies who are public, that large companies in the stock market in Europe will have to report the impact of 2025. So next year they will have to report based on the impact of 2025. The idea is that in the next years, more and more companies will have to report. There was a plan that in 2027, also smaller companies will report, but it has been postponed a little bit further. We know these things cost, so there is a like economic crisis going on, so they decided to postpone it a little bit. They also expect that that other organizations in other parts of the world who are doing business with Europe, they also need to report according to this standard, but they are waiting on that. So right now we are in a small bump. We are waiting, we are postponing a little bit, but eventually this thing will be applicable to almost every organization. I think in the law part with Julia, you will learn more about what will happen soon. So this standard from that is connected to the CSRD is the directive, so it's the law from the European Union that says that you need to report. And the standard, the European Sustainability Reporting Standard, that is what ESRS means, uh, will tell you how to do it. So the CSRD is the law, and the standard will tell you how to do the report. These standards are done by EFRAG, which is a group from the European Union focused on developing these standards. So we had the International Sustainability Standard Board in IFRS. Here we have EFRAG, which is a different organization. This is European. Something different from the other framework, IFRS, is that here the audience is all stakeholders, so not only investors. That was for investors, IFRS. And also, if you remember, the goal in the IFRS was to provide investors with enough information. Here, the goal is to reduce impact, so it's much more connected to sustainability. And how it looks like, because we learned the structure, it's very simple. In IFRS, you only have S1 and S2, but in CSRD, in this ESRS structure, it is a little bit more complex. We have two general standards, one and two, and then we have five standards for the environment, four standards for the social, and one for the governance. So here we are a little bit more developed. In IFRS, they were still developing the social and the governance. They only had one, the environmental, but here we have actually quite a lot for the environment, quite a lot for the social, and one for governance. In this first video, maybe we can talk about the general ones, ESRS 1 and ESRS 2. So in the first one, you talk about these things that you need to disclose according to the one. It's very similar to the IFRS 1, S1, the general one, because you need to disclose the purpose of the reporting, the scope, the boundary, in here the time horizon. So remember that. That's also something you need to disclose in the IFRS S1. It's very similar. But in the other one, you needed to talk about materiality. Here, you need to talk about double materiality. So explain how you conduct the double materiality. What is the process? And the ESRS2 is also a general disclosure about general aspects of sustainability in the firm. And it talks about governance elements, it talks about strategy, it talks about general aspects of impacts connected to risk and opportunities, and very important, the EU taxonomy declaration. So if you remember, we had the six objectives. We need to choose at least one and explain how we contribute to that. So these two standards are general standards that talk about the baseline for the reporting, the purpose, the boundaries, the materiality disclosure in the one, and then in the second one, like the structure of the sustainability efforts in the company, its strategy, and the EU taxonomy declaration that is very important for the European context. So in the next video, we will discuss the standards that are more focused, the standards that are for environment, social, and governance.